We are now joined by chief political analyst John Dickerson, who's also anchored the Daily Report with John Dickerson on CBS News 24/7. And Monday night, he's starting a new job. You'll hear more about that a little bit later on. But John, always good to see you. I want to start with the January 6 pardons, because Team Trump and allies close to him had indicated that, yes, we all knew that he was going to do pardons, but they said it would be done on a case-by-case basis. And certainly the people that had been convicted of violent crimes should not be included in blanket pardons. Well, we know overnight that has totally changed. What do you make of that? And what message, if any, is he sending?
Well, you know, Gayle, throughout the inauguration, throughout the day, he gave his inaugural speech, and then he kept coming back to January 6th and his idea that he won the 2020 election, which, of course, he didn't. He kept returning to it, teasing his supporters in those various speeches about how he had big news. This was more on his mind than anybody else. And he, you know, the day started with him benefiting from the ceremonies of the peaceful transfer of power. All of those ex-presidents who showed up, all of that bipartisanship, the part of the American tradition which says the Constitution ensures that there will not be political violence despite the strength of people's political views. That's what he benefited from in the morning. In the evening, he pardoned people who had tried to break that peaceful transfer of power on his behalf. So what it shows is that what we've always known is that for him, the norms and traditions are things from which he benefits. But if he thinks it's in his interest to step over those lines, he will be happy to do so and celebrate it, and will be celebrated both by his supporters and his allies in Congress.
You know, John, the president had said on his way into office that first day would be the most extraordinary in American history. People will argue about that, but he did do a heck of a lot of different things. What did it tell you about how he might govern from this day forward?
It was absolutely the most extraordinary day. I mean, he took an oath to protect the Constitution in front of people who had, from his own party, who had accused him of breaking that oath in his effort to overturn the 2020 election. So that alone is an extraordinary day with an extraordinary political comeback and an extraordinary husbanding of power, political power, which he has and knows how to use. And how do we know he knows how to use it? Look at what he did on his first day. Everything from the January 6 pardons to all of the executive orders. He is confident, he is unbound, and he recognizes that he has fewer constraints than any president in the modern era.
And, John, speaking of that, it seems that he has a better understanding of the system, but yet and still, it's pretty chaotic to execute all of these things. Will that chaos get in the way of him getting real work done? He talked about promises made, promises kept, like the promise of, you know, helping with grocery prices, the simple things.
Yeah, that's the big question, is he going to be able to make progress on the things that people elected him for who were not in his core base? He can do that on immigration. A president has power. Grocery prices, much harder. But that's the big question. Can all of this sort of governing in public, pushing the system, will it eventually score him wins? It has in some cases when he's moved forward in ways that his aides have said, oh, please don't, you're testing a boundary. Now he's testing the boundaries by blowing right through them. The question is whether the chaos will keep him from being able to execute some of those goals. He certainly is going to test the system in ways it hasn't been tested before.
All right, John, thank you very much. Appreciate your insight.